Okay, welcome, Heroes of the Horde and Adventures of the Alliance. My name is Weirdo, and we're joined back with Hargan in his rightful place.
Hargan
There
Smash!
we go. There we go. Like I say, when I had Marsh on because you guys went to the concert,
Hmm.
he it is I tasked him to do a catchphrase on an outro, but I asked him to do it on the fly. He was just like, "I'm going home and I'm going the fuck to sleep." Like, and
Mm.
that's fair.
Hargan Smash, way
Hargan
better.
Smash, much
Sorry,
better,
Marsh, love you. Hargan Smash, way better.
much more catchy. But yeah, actually, so it's a shame. We were just having a really good discussion about our future Cataclysm plans, which you guys won't get to be privy to for a little while,
It's a
but
secret.
so far. We're also going to try. I don't know if this will reflect, like the way I edit it, I might just string all the audio together, but we're going to try to do it in 15-minute chunks. That way, in case we fuck up any audio, we'll only lose 15 minutes as opposed to 90.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But anyways, so one of the things we wanted to talk about, since right now the progression of the I don't know what do we want to call it, the story, the rewrite, the whatever, is currently in vanilla.
Mm.
So that's the era we're in right now. And one of the big struggles I'm having with it is I have so many ideas and maps and a lot more concrete plans for everything after vanilla. Because in your average expansion, in the let's call it the pre-modern WoW era, your average expansion got 8 zones,
Mm.
and now in the starting in the Legion to now, a WoW expansion gets 4 zones. Vanilla, and so even like in your average WoW expansion, you used to get 3 patches. Lately, I think they're kind of settling on 2.
Mm.
But like that's how the cycle would go. You start with a pretty reasonable amount of zones, and you get a good number of dungeons,
Yeah.
and then you get a few patches, and you're done.
Yeah.
Vanilla has 40 zones
Yeah, a little different.
and 12 patches.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been struggling with trying to figure out how to narrate or navigate that in a narrative capacity. But what I wanted to get into tonight with you specifically, because this is your field, so I kind of wanted to just give it to you and let you run free with it, and I'll see if I can keep myself under control. I know we all know I like to talk, but
Mm.
um, you guys couldn't see his face when I said that, but he was just like, "Yes, indeed." um, part of what I'm doing, and I'll just do this to kind of give the context. The first, because like everything in WoW, the story is always building up to a raid, right?
Yeah.
Raids are like the climaxes
Yeah.
of any given arc or story. And so we needed to figure out what was going to be the first raid of this story of our Warcraft rewritten.
Of the rewrite, yeah.
So what do you think it should be? I'll ask you that first before I really get into it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good question. I don't like for me personally, I didn't have any problems with vanilla. Like I mean,
That's true. There was it's
it's hard to I don't know. There's not much I would change about vanilla.
it kind of goes to rule 3. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I would say if you had to choose, what do you
Well,
think?
let me ask you this: what? Because I don't even know. What was the first raid? Was it Onyxia? Oh, Molten Core. Okay, yeah.
Actually, I think Onyxia was probably first.
I think yeah. Okay.
So I'll say this in the spirit of that, of honoring them being the first raids. They A lot about them embodies the first arc,
Mm,
but they're not going to be the first raid.
okay.
So what do you think?
Well, if they're not going to be the first raid,
The answer might surprise you.
really, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the plan right now is the first raid, the culmination of our launch story. So let's call it Arc 1, which I named the Drums of War. Fun fact, I named it the Drums of War. I didn't know that that was actually one of the 12 vanilla patch names. I didn't know that till after I made that. Yeah.
Oh.
That was the Drums of War that patch introduced cross-realm battlegrounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very important, I would say, for battleground health.
Yeah, for sure.
But so the final raid of vanilla is going to be Alterac Valley.
Whoa,
Yes.
what? Okay, let's go. Hargan smash.
Hargan smash, yes sir. Yes sir. Now,
Oh,
the reason for that is I feel like one of the huge tenets, kind of what we went boating today, guys, with Hargan's family. One of the things we were discussing was faction identity. That was such a huge thing, and I feel like that is so core to vanilla, and that should be.
No, I agree.
The peak or the climax of the vanilla story.
Yeah,
is the best battleground.
I actually like that. Yeah, yeah. Because for me, anyway, that's what made Vanilla WoW as good as it was that personally for me, that faction, experience was so good. Like I was proud to be a member of the Horde.
Yeah, I was very proud.
And if you were Alliance, fundamentally, and near me, you're dead.
We killed you. Yeah, I tried to kill you guys, but
you tried, but you failed.
I often failed. I had bigger friends. I had friends who could kill you.
Yeah,
I called Big Brother. But yeah, so that's where I'm. But like, so let me tie that into my plans. And I'm only going to touch on this and then I'm going to get off it because I really want to get into PvP tonight. And I'd hoped when we got into that, I'd have another person here who could really get into PvP with you, but I'll just have to do my best. Part of honoring the legacy of Onyxia and Ragnaros is that the reason Alterac Valley is the raid is the Black Dragonflight. I'm not going to make up anything, but I'm going to highlight in different zones the subtle manipulations of the Black Dragonflight. That the reason the Horde and the Alliance's tensions are ramping up again is these subtle frictions that the Black Dragons are massaging.
Okay.
And then our first air quotes patch, or Arc 2, whatever you want to call it, we're going to Black Rock Mountain.
Okay.
And the Horde, I kind of talked about this with Marsh a little bit, but we all are going to get there at the same time. And as the Alliance go down into Black Rock Depths to deal with the Emperor of the Dark Irons, the Horde are going to go up, and they're going to deal with the Black Rock Orcs in Black Rock Spire.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to have it, so the Alliance will handle Onyxia, and then they'll get to Black Rock Mountain. So they get a dragon and then a dungeon. Whereas the Horde is going to get a dungeon, they're going to be a Black Rock Spire, and then they're going to go to Blackwing Lair. So they get a dungeon, then a dragon.
Okay.
And then that's when the Alliance are down there, they find the Molten Core, and Ragnaros shows up. Ragnaros is a huge threat that they can't beat on their own.
Yeah.
But the Alliance are already down there, and I feel that this is just the most Horde thing I can think of. The Horde are at the top of the mountain. The mountain's a volcano. They're going to jump into the volcano. You guys are going to jump head first into volcano, and that's how you guys will get down, and we'll all fight Ragnaros together.
Okay, interesting. We're just going to jump down.
You guys, you're going to be in Blackwing Lair. You're going to do it, and then you're going to realize the volcano's erupting. But you guys have shamans, so you're going to know it's not just erupting. That's the fucking fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fair.
That guy cannot.
Yeah, we got to do something about that. Yeah. And
you guys are going to look. It's going to be very much the other guys, except not played for comedy.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, fuck it. Whoop. So that's my plan for Act 2. But for now, Act 1, integrating PvP and Battlegrounds into the story. Let me ask you this. Of the original 3, I think I know the answer, but what was your favorite Battleground?
That's a tough one, man. Yeah, I probably would say Alterac Valley. Only because mechanically, like Warsong Gulch could be annoying if it was a turtle and it just was, kind of a stalemate.
If you didn't have a good team.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, right? I remember doing this. There was a bear who got the flag.
Yep.
And then he ran up and the bear ran into one of those night elf tents.
Yeah, it just stayed there. Yeah.
And I remember like guarding him and being like, "What are we doing?
What are we doing? How do we win from this spot?
Like,
we just
we can't go in there because they have our flag.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the difference, like you would still get turtles in Alterac Valley, but they had the eventually someone would win.
Yeah.
Just a battle of attrition, someone would win eventually. So it was a little bit different.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So that's a. Let's just get the whole Holy Trinity in there. Actually, no. Let's start at the bottom. So Ultrek was the favorite because I agree. I thought Ultrek had so much going on, so much so that it makes for a good raid.
Yeah,
like it's a 3-boss raid.
I mean, it essentially is a raid.
It is.
I mean, it is battleground, but there's a raid boss at the end for both. There's several raid bosses. In fact,
the only PvP raid.
Yeah. Which is actually kind of disappointing. They should have done more things like that. I think would have been cool.
They would play with it a little bit in Battle for Azeroth, like the Siege of Dazar'alor. I don't know if you know anything about it.
No, I don't.
Very interesting raid. We'll talk more about it at some time.
Okay.
But I agree that Ultrac was probably the best battleground. But let's get. I'd be interested. What are some of your Warsong Gulch stories? Reach into your memory banks and just give us some Warsong experience from the heart of a true PvPer.
Oh,
and I'll see if I can pull in arenas at some point too. But
okay. I mean, honestly, like there's kind of like 3 ways that Warsong Gulch can go, right? Like either you stomp the enemy team, like, and you're just running the flag back to back. You get stomped, and they're just capping your flag back to back to back. Or that turtle situation that we were just talking about, where neither team is really seems to be interested in ending the game, and it's just a kind of a weird stalemate where no one's really, maybe you have like one guy who charges into the enemy base alone. It's like, what are you doing, buddy? Like
you ever seen The Longest Yard?
Yeah.
Like the right in the first 10 minutes of the game, like they're not playing football, they're just beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Like that's Warsong Gulch.
Yeah.
It would happen.
Yeah.
Any like crazy, like any good anecdotes, I guess is what I'm fishing for. Like any great stories that like live in your head forever.
I can't really think of any specifically in Battlegrounds. More so for Arena, I could think of stuff like that happening, but Battlegrounds were cool. And actually, as far as that goes, I would say Alterac Valley more so would stick out to me.
Sure. Okay.
We had this server I was on. We had a guy named Rathimus, and he had something called the Wrath Strat. And we would essentially dominate the Alliance. Like we would cap all their graveyards in a certain way that they would all spawn at one spot, and then we would just have all the casters AoE on their graveyard. So we would literally just farm honor kills. They would res and they would immediately die. And we got so much honor. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah, it was a great way to earn some honor, though.
Wow.
Yeah. Nah, I think that as far as epic battles go, though, like definitely Alterac is more.
It's set up more for it.
Yeah, because sometimes when you clash in the middle, it's epic. It's just a brawl. And not to say that, Warsong or Arathi Basin isn't a brawl, but yeah, the scale of Alterac Valley is definitely more intense.
It's designed to accommodate for a different experience.
Yeah.
Like in Warsong, you're having like these you can have some really epic skirmishes,
mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, they're skirmishes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And like Arathi's kind of the same. I have a really good PvP story that didn't take place in Arathi.
Mm-hmm.
It took place right outside the instance that got into Arathi.
Oh, okay.
So like I think it was called the refugee point in the Arathi Highlands.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Before I get into it, let's stick on Warsong Gulch for a little bit. Also, because the timer. For the record, viewers, we're trying to be a little bit better about timing ourselves so that we can monitor our audio quality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any other Warsong? We can always come back to it, but like I'm just sort of categorizing right now.
Yeah, nothing really sticks out about Warsong for me. Like,
Warsong is a great warm up.
Yeah.
Like it's a good it's got an objective, but I'm there for the kills. But
yeah.
Also, if I see the guy with the flag, I can escort him.
Yeah.
You feel good about it. It's kind of like Warsong is the closest to Overwatch that WoW ever got.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Let's and probably literally right back because I think we're just gonna hit pause and play. I might even edit that out. Like, because Ultrac, yeah, it's set up so much better for specific encounters. The thing that I always remember in Arathi and Warsong is like the second the gates opened, everybody went their own separate ways.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You just kind of can't do that in Ultrac. You'll lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is actually why the Alliance usually lost Ultrac.
Mm-hmm.
We were not good at that battleground.
That's an interesting too, because like from my perspective, I feel like the Alliance always won. I don't know. I feel like whatever. And I actually later in WoW, I started playing Alliance characters, and it felt like when I played Alliance, the Alliance would always. So it just seems like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Whatever. I just dragged the battleground down, I guess.
We're the common denominator.
Yeah.
Actually, so I guess kind of thinking about it, like so affirmatively, I can say the Alliance always lost. Well, at least when I was playing, the Alliance would always lose Warsong Gulch, and we would always lose Arathi Basin.
Mm-hmm.
Always, without fail.
Mm-hmm.
We usually won Ultrac.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, but I've heard in vanilla the map slightly favors the Alliance in terms of like getting to the objectives. Like it's a little bit quicker, I think, for them. I don't know how true that is. If you're listening to this and you disagree, that's fine. That's just what I heard. I don't know.
It makes sense because it's the kind of things that you wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
Now we know it's like, oh, everything needs to be fair.
Yeah.
And that sentiment is why they're abandoning faction identity.
Dude, honestly, PvP was actually insane. Not very balanced at all. There was like no diminishing returns on stuns. Like a rogue could just stun you forever, and there was nothing you could do about it. Yeah. I don't think they were really thinking about that kind of PvP gameplay balance back then.
Stranglethorn Vale was an actual nightmare, and it had nothing to do with the design. It had to do with undead rogues.
Yeah.
Just living free in my spine.
Yeah. Torn Mill for me, I got ganked a lot there by Alliance rogues.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
they just pop out, one shot you. You're just trying to level.
Dude, not one of my best performances by a long shot, but like I don't remember what we were doing, but we were in the Arathi Highlands. We were at the refugee point, which is the entrance to, and the Horde were just because I started playing on a PvP server. That was my experience. I wasn't aware you could play.
You started on a PvP server?
I
didn't know that.
I was aware that there were PvE servers. Did not.
Okay.
That was just a fundamental part of WoW.
They probably shouldn't have been. Honestly, it probably would have been better for you if it was just
maybe.
Yeah.
But, and they were fucking up the refugee point. They were killing like vendors that I needed.
Quest giver. Yeah,
I didn't get into the battleground.
Yeah.
And I remember my buddy was also there and was also playing. By then, we all had different accounts. But his grandpa was the leader of the guild we were all in.
Yeah.
And all I remember seeing was a whisper. It was like, "We're coming."
Oh.
And I was like, "Whoa!" I'm in middle school.
Yeah.
Seems way cooler.
Yeah.
And I remember it so vividly in my mind. My character. I panned the camera, and from one side of because the refugee point is just it's like a drive-through. Mm-hmm. It's like a beverage king.
Mm-hmm.
From one side, I see all these green names, and they're all mounted, and I just remember it like whoosh.
It's like Lord of the Rings, where they're riding down the hill. You're like, yes, we're saved.
I don't get what happened because naturally they would have been demounted in combat.
Yeah.
In my memories, they were on mounts. They rode through. Everything died, and they rode out.
Yeah.
They were gone.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I have one story like that. It was in Wrath of the Lich King. We were probably, I think we might have been the second best guild on the server.
Okay.
in terms of progression. Or we were the best on the horde anyway, and I think there was an alliance guild that was ahead of us.
Cool too.
Yeah. But I was known as like the PvPer in the guild.
Okay.
So one of our guild members was in Ice Crown doing dailies, and he was getting, or his wife was getting ganked. And he was like an elemental shaman, and just PvP wasn't his thing. So he's like, "Hey man, come help me out. This guy's ganking us." I'm like, "Okay, I come out. I heal him." I was a holy paladin, so I got to heal him while he smacked this guy around and defended his wife's honor. You know what I mean. But anyway, long story short, the people they were fighting, they were from the Alliance, the top guild on the Alliance. Oh. So they brought a couple people out. A couple minutes later, we're fighting them. We get some help out. Pretty soon, it's the full raid group from both guilds duking it out in Ice Crown. And this was like, yeah, it was Wrath of the Lich King. I didn't have a great computer at that time. My computer was crying. It was not happy. There were so many people. There was spells flying everywhere. It was so laggy, but it was sick. That was a really, really good day. That was a lot of fun. The two top raid guilds on the server just duking it out in Ice Crown, Yeah, it was a good day.
Dude, that's incredible. Those are the kind of things that like you can't write.
Nope.
Like you and I could sit down right now and we could write that happening.
Yep.
It would never feel like it felt.
Yep.
Because that was just impromptu. Like you didn't log in that day to have.
No, nobody intended for that to happen. It just it just happened. We had such a strong guild leader back then too, and he just when he said, "Hey, everyone in Ice Crown. Now we're going to war," and that was it. Everyone just came to Ice Crown. We're going to war. Yeah, that was it.
It's like, what was I doing? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I have so many. I have PvP stories, but from Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a Guild Wars 2 podcast. Maybe we'll get there one day.
Yeah.
We run out of shit to do, but like we had a similar. Like his name was Odinzu, and like this dude would just such a good leader. Like I think he was kidding. He must have been, but he's like, before the game came out, I was like, I sat down and I read Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Yeah.
And like he put a guild together on the fly because he would jump into these battlegrounds and just do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna go hit them, then we're gonna leave, and then while they're coming to hit them, we're taking their other castle.
Yeah.
Like, it was incredible. And like that guy, he got so good that whenever he would log in, he would ruin war efforts because people would stop what they were doing to go follow him. He's like, I wasn't here to do anything, guys.
Yeah.
He stopped playing for like 2 years, and like the guild broke up and a whole bunch of shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the last time I ever saw him was 2 years after I had seen him. And like I would talk to him just as a buddy every now and then, be like, "Hey man, are you doing okay?" Like I understand, like I know what's happening because I was like not one of the first wave, but I was in the guild very early.
Yeah.
So it was like I understood how good he was, but I wasn't like a zealot.
Yeah.
The cult of Odinzu. Like, you doing all right, bud? And he's like, I think I need to take a break for a while. Whatever this isn't healthy for me.
Yeah.
And he like got so. The last time I ever saw him in Guild Wars, you could like buy siege weapons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what?
Yeah, we'll get into this one day.
Okay.
Like, the top siege weapon that you could get, like battering rams and catapults and trebuchets.
Yeah.
But the top one was a golem. The top one was a Gundam. Like that you could get in. It was a mech suit that you got in and you drove and you just punched walls.
Okay.
The last time I ever saw him, I didn't know he was online. I didn't even know he was still playing.
Yeah.
I was doing a PvP siege, and out of nowhere I see just this golem go spinning through our PvP raid group, and it is typing. Like it busts down, not the gate, the wall. The gates are much easier to break.
Yeah.
But the wall, it just goes straight through it. And I'm like, damn, that's wild. Who the hell is that? Odin? Odin? Is he alive? Like, open my friend group meeting. He's like, oh.
Hell yeah.
And that's, of course, the most Odin way to ever enter. But like, guild leaders back then, like guild leaders were not bureaucrats. They were legends.
Yeah. I feel like nowadays they're all bureaucrats. It's very like.
And you gotta need them to be.
Yeah, well, yeah.
To run
fair.
things.
Yeah.
But guilds were cults of personality back in the day.
Yep. for sure.
Like what more? I'm sure. Like, what are some of the things about yours?
My guild or
your guild master, anything. Like guilds were different than they are now.
I would say the guild master for sure was yeah, he was. Did you use the word legend?
Yes.
My guild master's name was Legend. That was his fucking character. That was his effing character name.
You can swear. I've sworn like.
Okay, all right. And he was a legend. He was just a badass dude. We would go in a raid. He was a blood death knight, which were I'm sure you probably know the first couple patches of, or maybe the first half of Wrath of the Lich King, blood death knights were just completely busted. He was like invincible. Like we would go into raids and he'd be like, "Okay, we're pulling everything." You know, like, "Let's go, we're going now." I'm like, okay, you know.
If I remember right, blood was not the tank spec when Death Knights came out.
I think Frost. I think they were playing Frost, but it turned out Blood was just like,
it was so insane. Because Blood just like couldn't die.
It couldn't die. You could not kill him.
Like,
yeah.
Let's rapidly change this and pretend we did it on purpose.
Yep. But yeah, no, and he was just a badass, and we would just go in there, and he'd be like, you know, I was one of the healers. He'd be like, "You good? You got mana? Yeah, I'm good. Let's go." We would just start pulling. It didn't matter if what anyone else in the raid was doing. He's like, "You got mana? Yeah. Okay, let's go. We're going. We would just clear Ice Crown like that. We would just keep pulling the whole time. And I know that's probably pretty common. I guess a lot of guild leaders and main tanks are like that. But I think specifically as a guild leader, that you kind of need that. It helps.
You need the EPing.
Yeah, for sure. And also very no nonsense. Like if you were fucking up, he would tell you, and
that's good.
Yeah,
and that's definitely you need that. Like you need the charisma, but like I don't know that all of the legends. Don't know they all had that. They didn't always like. Some of them would coddle you.
Yeah,
the best ones it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean that's probably situational too.
Yeah,
like. Yeah, all right. So, Drake Valley, that was the best experience, like for Battlegrounds at least for you, right?
Yeah. And honestly, interestingly enough, like I think of those 3 original Battlegrounds, those are my favorites still to this day. Like the newer Battlegrounds that they came out with, I don't really care for as much.
I completely agree.
Like I don't know.
I also don't know what their names are.
Yeah, it's funny. Twin Peaks, I think, is one, or something Peaks.
Yeah, is it?
With
that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And,
there's more. I just can't think of them. I don't. They don't exist. Like, what are they?
I didn't mean to ignore them. Like, but I don't.
Oh, Isle of Conquest was one. That was the 40-man. But that sucked in comparison to AV. Yeah. Just not the same.
Do you remember the one that came out in PC? Eye of the Storm.
Eye of the Storm. Oh, okay. I kind of liked Eye of the Storm.
I thought that was such a weird waste because it was just a rock.
Yeah, and it was like capture. They just took Arathi Basin and Warsong and just like mashed them into one game.
Capture the point flag.
Yeah. Now I will say, mechanically that's a fun map because of the fact that you're on a floating rock. So if you're a priest, for example, and you can mind control people. Oh, so much fun. Such a great map. Yeah. Or if you had a knockback, any kind of knockback spell is good.
Remember like the first time, this is me pulling the lore in a little bit, but the first time Anduin used mind control in Mists of Pandaria. This is something you wouldn't have caught because you were Horde.
Yeah, okay.
But we were like the first thing you're doing in Mists when you're an Alliance player is trying to find Anduin. Because like that's the whole reason we went there. Is like Anduin got shipwrecked. We are going to find our prince. Like, we're not there to conquer shit.
Okay.
We're just trying to find Anduin.
Yeah, sure. That's what an alliance would say.
Exactly. Yeah. with a lawful good faction.
Yeah.
But like we get there, and obviously things go awry. Let's paint the continent blue. But like SI7 is there to find Anduin, and we find him, and 2 of the SI7 people have him there, and he's like, "Excuse me, I must go. I have to continue. I have to continue on this journey that I'm on." He's like, "No, you're the prince. We're taking you back to Stormwind." And he's like, "Oh yes, of course." And he mind controls the dwarf to let him go.
Oh, he pulls a little Jedi mind trick on him. These are not the dwarves you're looking for.
Exactly. And he's like, no, yeah, you're gonna let me continue. He's like, of course, my prince. I enjoy your stay in Pandaria. And
Nice.
then he leaves, and all of us are like, is anyone a disc priest?
Yeah.
Does anyone fuck with the void?
I guess he is a disc priest, right? I mean, or is he paladin? What is he? I guess he's a priest. Yeah, he's got to be a priest. I know he uses a shield, like a power shield.
He doesn't comfortably fall into any.
Okay. Okay.
I think thematically he is more fitting of a paladin.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, there's like a main line that no matter what he's doing, no matter what armor he's wearing, no matter what sword he's wielding, Anduin is a priest, not a paladin.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm not exactly sure what they're after with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
New class. Priestedin.
Priestedin, yeah. Which is like a paladin, but more priest. So just a priest? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, mind control was a doozy. It's
fun spell. Very fun spell in PvP. Very fun.
And then what came after Eye of the Storm? Was Strand of the Ancients in Wrath?
Yeah, Strand was in Wrath. Yep.
Any good stories from that? That was when we got vehicles for the first time.
I've played. Man,
I bet by then you were in arenas more though.
No, I mean you still had to do battlegrounds. Every PvP season you would have to do your battleground because you would have to grind out your honor gear that you could whatever you could buy with the honor points. So I definitely did a lot of battlegrounds.
I used to do a lot of math homework. I don't remember any of it though.
Well, yeah, that's true. No, I'm kind of the same way. Especially with the battlegrounds. I mean, yeah, I can remember some fun times in them, but
any that like stand out worth talking about? Like anyone that's just like this was my best showing, but like this was pretty fun or funny.
No, I'm trying to think. I think there was some weird stuff in Strain where I feel like you could get to the if you were the defender, I think you could get to the beach and like destroy all their siege engines like before the battle started. So that kind of stuck out just because it was like funny. You know what I mean? Yeah, like a cheat. Yeah. Actually, I do like that battleground. That's a fun battleground.
It was okay.
Yeah,
they were still working on their mechanics, but
yeah. I think also, unless I'm totally misremembering this, I think at one point, the siege vehicles like scaled with your item level. Really? So if you were like decked out in raid gear and you got in one of the siege vehicles, like I think it was just like unstoppable.
Damn, I actually don't know.
I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that was the case.
One of those placebos where it's like it's not true, but it feels true.
Yeah, it feels true.
It could be true. I don't know.
Yeah.
By then, I was falling off of PvP. At my cat, I was done. Like I remember being excited to play the Battle of Gilneas.
Yeah.
And I got into that battleground, and I was like, "This is like worse Arathi."
Yeah, yeah.
This is not as good as Arathi.
And I forgot about that one too. It's crazy how those battlegrounds are just not memorable to me at all. Like,
first three were so good.
Yeah, they were really good. Simple too. They were just simple, but they were just good.
Yeah, you didn't need more. Did you want to know a fun fact?
What?
Ultrek came out before Arathi.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Because I've been going through the patches, and Arathi base and Warsong and Ultrek came out at the same time. It came out in the Battlegrounds patch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like patch 4 or 5. I don't know. I'll know when I have my script in front of me. But Arathi was a later edition. It's kind of wild, right? Because it's not how you think about it.
No. Like, yeah.
It's very much a 1, 2, 3, with Arathi being 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not know that. That's interesting.
So I can comfortably say that my experience with arenas is next to nothing. I played with 2 buds. Even in the beginning, we shared an account. So in the beginning, we couldn't even play together. But by the time we could, it became apparent to me that these guys talked a really big game.
Yeah. Everyone does, man. Everyone does in it for me. Yeah.
They couldn't really back it up.
Yeah.
It was a pity. One of them could. He played a fire mage, and he it was very reliant on crits.
Yep.
And that was the thing.
What was this, Kata?
No, this would have been probably around Wrath.
Okay, yeah. Well, fire is very, very dependent on crits. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it kind of always has been.
Yeah.
Like he played fire, and as long as you got the crits, and you usually would, but you couldn't always.
Yeah.
He was fine, but like collectively, if any of us tried to play together, like we were ass.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, okay, well, these guys talk such a big game. I thought they were very good. That must mean I'm the problem. I fell off of Arena.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I ever really gave him a chance. I bring all this up to say is that like you have the expertise on arenas. What are some of your best arena moments?
Oh my goodness, I have played a lot of arena, thousands and thousands of arena matches.
We considered strongly, viewers, using Hargan's arena footage as background.
I have a lot. Yeah, it all that to say, I'm not that good. For as many games as I've played, I've never gotten like a gladiator or a rank 1 title. I think the highest I got was duelist, which is pretty high, but not gladiator level.
Like top 100 on your server, aren't you?
Back in the day when arenas were server based, I think I was, yeah. Or I think we were the second highest 2v2 team. There was a Shaman DK team that could beat us, but
what server were you on, if you don't mind me asking?
Ooh, back then it was either Zul'jin or Natherzim. It was one of the two.
Okay.
And then I think I started playing on Darkspear later.
Okay. It's funny how I don't know. This is a little bit of an aside. Actually, 1 second. Let's do a quick break.
Yep.
All right, so we're back from the break, and this is why we did it the way that we did it. So I need to remember to put the microphone on, or the timer on now. But see, what's funny about that is that we said we were going to do that, and then we didn't. Like we followed it, but then we started and we stopped, and we didn't check the quality.
Yeah.
So for the first 30 minutes of the podcast, in a rare switch up from events, I'm going to sound like a ghost, and Hargan is just going to sound the perfect level, the most charming voice you can think of. But you know what? I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm too loud too often. So this is going to be Hargan's episode.
Balance. We're talking about PvP balance. It's all about the balance.
We're all about symmetry, harmony, parallels. But yeah, now here's the question, and I know for anyone listening, it will only been a couple of seconds. What the hell were we talking about before we stopped?
Okay, I know that this is my area. You were asking me about arena.
Arena. That's where we were.
Yes.
That's where we were. Yes. So, what are some great arena stories? You were talking. Okay, no, I'm back with it. You and your guild, you and your partners. You guys were like 2 of the top 2 duos on your server.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me about that. Like, who did you partner with? If you like, you don't have to say the name if you don't want to. But
actually, I do remember back then I was playing with a really good mage who he ended up becoming a YouTuber actually and a streamer. But yeah, we were playing together at that time, which was great because we were killing it. We were doing great in the arenas and winning lots of games. It was a lot of fun too. I had a lot of fun back then. But yeah, he was a mage. He was a frost mage, and he was really good. I think he ended up going to get a rank 1 title, and probably a few gladiator titles. He also plays Fortnite. I think he was a Fortnite streamer as well.
Interesting. That's kind of funny, like the overlap there, because like there's not. I think I'd be pretty comfortable saying there's not a lot of overlap between WoW and Fortnite players.
I think that was a tactical decision as far as the.
Oh, for the channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think at that time, honestly, WoW I don't think is a great. I don't know. I guess there are streamers that make money playing WoW, but
I mean, Asmongold is currently
he makes a lot of money.
He's one of the
and he's not even a WoW streamer anymore. Actually, at this point, I don't think he plays or even talks about WoW anymore. He'll always watch WoW videos. Yeah, he'll react. I guess it's true.
Like I mean, it's wild too because the character of Asmongold is certainly one thing. I think the actual guy, his name is Zach.
Yeah, Zach. Mhm.
Yeah, I think he's incredibly intelligent and incredibly.
He is. I was always surprised how insightful he is about things. He thinks about things, and you can tell by his responses.
And like, and at the same time, he's kind of like figured out, like, because like he makes all this money and he lives a very low cost, low maintenance life.
Very very low maintenance. Yeah.
It's in that way you kind of have to respect him.
Which is odd because like he's probably one of the more profitable streamer, and he doesn't ball out like some other YouTubers or streamers do. He just kind of lives a very humble life.
I'd say the names Asmongold are probably up there with like Charlie and PewDiePie and like
yeah.
But like he's just a guy. Yeah. That's so annoying because I don't really like watching his content because I don't. Again, when he's in the character of Asmongold, I'm not hating. I'm just like just my preference. It doesn't never seem to add anything when he's Asmongold.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking as Zach, I always like listening. He's got like a bunch of shit to say.
Yeah.
But he also when he's Asmongold, he gives just the act of him watching a video that's giving a shout out to that channel.
Yeah,
sending his huge like bounds of followers. Like he's I have no notes.
Yeah,
obviously. Like who the fuck am I to tell Asmongold what to do?
Yeah.
But hey, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But like, yeah, I don't know if WoW is that profitable.
I think for the most part. Well, so to my point of with my friend specifically, I think it made sense for him, especially at that time. I think Fortnite was blowing up, so it made sense for him to do that.
That makes sense, especially if it's your career. Like just follow the money. No shame in it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get those views.
I think he works for Fortnite now. I think he works for that company. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
You ever thought about like getting back in touch? Like just saying like, "Hey, how you doing, man?"
We're still like Battle.net friends.
Oh hell yeah.
Even just in a year or two ago, in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, we were. Even in Kata, yeah, I've been playing with him a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We don't play like we used to. I don't know. So honestly, here's the whole story. He is better than me, and he had a meteoric rise, and but no, he was always cool. We would still play sometimes. Specifically, in twos. At a certain point, you couldn't get titles anymore from 2v2s, so we would do twos together a lot because it didn't really. Your rating doesn't really matter in twos. If you can't get a title, it doesn't matter. So he'd be like, yeah, whatever. I'll play with you.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I always liked the idea of arenas. I was just never any good. So
honestly, I think that's one of the most difficult things about arena is that very thing that you're talking about. I think it's finding a group of people to play with, and it isn't necessarily about individual skill. It's a team game. At the end of the day, it's a team effort. So you could have one guy that's really good, and if you're playing 3v3s and you're just not in sync, you just not. You know what I mean?
So synergy.
Yeah, but the social aspect too. I think going out and finding teammates. Mm-hmm. is huge. I think that's really difficult to do, to find people that are like-minded and willing to lose and learn, because a lot of times you'll play with people, you'll lose 3 games in a row and you've never played with them before. You lose 3 games in a row and they all just they disperse. And that's pretty common. But I think if you push past that, and you gotta have discussions too, like why did we lose? You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people don't do that, or they blame
one person,
or the other class on the other. Oh, that class is so OP.
This game is broken.
Yeah, that's the totally complete wrong approach. I think every time you lose, you have to say what could I have done better? What could we have done better? I think that's the big thing.
I think it takes a kind of. I think it's a kind of bravery to be the person willing to have that conversation too.
Yeah. I agree,
dude. Even
the
with
easy thing is to blame. Is to say, oh,
even with us in a totally different game, when you, me, and our 2 buds were playing Marvel Rivals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were buns. we got clowned
we got
over
clapped.
and over and over again.
Yep.
And like that was so interesting because when I had played with them without you, we dominated, and when I played with you without them, we dominated.
Mm.
And I was like, "What's happening here? Is it me?" But like, I had theories on what it was. Maybe it was me, but like I wasn't. Like I was like the juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze here.
Yeah.
For me to sit down with anybody and be like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So you have to be the kind of gentle leader willing to help form three strangers into a team.
Yeah, no, totally. And honestly, specifically about that session when we were playing, I was playing a heal. That's what I play. I play healers.
Yeah.
I think we started doing better when I was calling out to you that I was like, hey, there's a I don't know, Spider-Man's fucking me up, man. Can you do something about it?
Yeah, let me know to come back. Yeah.
And then we started doing,
I think when
better.
you and I were healers, we were unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like when you and I were like tag team.
You're a good tank though too. When you play a tank character, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a tank to my core.
Yeah.
Like that's always the role I love. I love being that guy.
Yeah.
It's not always very rewarding.
Yeah.
WoW specifically,
what do you mean? Getting punched in the face all day isn't rewarding? What?
It can be.
Yeah.
And I really love the dynamic between two tanks. Because like you're going in and like there's a 20-man raid group, but you have your wingman.
Yes.
That's
true.
Good feeling.
And I've tanked a little bit here and there, and yeah, there is a sense of kinship with the other tank. Like you were whispering the other guy the whole time when you were talking, and like, okay, I'm gonna taunt at 3 stacks, and you do that. Yeah.
Brotherhood of Tanks is a very real thing.
Yep. Even with gear too, sometimes you know people can get pretty shitty when it comes to gear sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like tanks a lot of times would be like,
can you pull aggro?
No. As far as gear, like gear drops and stuff, they'll be like, you know what, that's a pretty big upgrade for you. Well, you take that piece. You know what I mean?
It is.
We're like DPS like, no, I need that 0.013% DPS increase. Like I need that item. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like I need more numbers.
Yeah,
it's like crack. It's like I gotta get the decimals up. I gotta get my number.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. And healers too, man. This like one of my favorite memes is like healing is not like that's the impression of healers is like they're the bottoms.
Yeah.
But like no, healers are tops.
Like healing is hard. I feel like healing is hard.
Healing is not only hard; it's like the role.
Yeah.
Like you can lose based on some bad tanks, but you can win on bad tanks. You cannot win with bad healers.
I guess not ironically, but the reason I started playing healers, I mained a warrior in vanilla.
Yes.
Warriors are fantastic in PvP. They're very strong, but they need a healer to really shine. And I just did not and could not find any good healers to play with. So at some point I just said, fuck it, I will be the healer. And, the rest, as they say, is history. But yeah.
I mean, I love a good, like, I mean, everybody wants to be the DPS.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I've never found a DPS who I like thought about after I was done. I was like, I know you were getting work done. You had to. That's why we need you. But like,
yeah, you don't remember you remember the tanks and the healers.
Remember the tanks and the healers. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also there's less of them, so that helps. But
yes.
But even in games like Overwatch or Rivals right now, which is completely fundamentally different from playing WoW. Like we're not even comparing. It's just they happen to have the same roles.
Mm-hmm.
But like DPS could have 45 kills in a match.
Yeah.
It should be like, good job, heals.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
It's almost unfair.
Yeah.
It's really funny because we were just checking the quality and it started with what I'm about to ask, and it was, what the hell were we talking about when we stopped? Attention spans are bad on us guys.
Yeah. What do you mean? We've only been playing video games our whole lives. What do you want?
I do so much better with there's a quest marker.
Yeah, exactly. So with a little arrow that points you in the direction you have to go.
Something we kind of talked about while we were refilling our glasses was you go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying in terms of this project and the Warcraft rewrite, I feel like my PvP experience is not necessarily in line with, you know.
And I see where you're coming from, but I want to counter with one of the reasons why I was so excited when you said you wanted to be a part of it is one of the foundational tenets that I want to keep in the spirit of the rewrite that WoW is losing right now as we speak is faction pride, faction identity. And I really wanted to get into this, and I'm sure in a script I will get to it eventually. And I'll give it more gravitas and weight in the way I usually end videos.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bit in Mists of Pandaria around the end where it's the Wrathion and Anduin quest line. You remember that when you're doing your cloak? If you, I don't think you
I
played
got the
much
cloak.
of yeah
I got the
of
cloak, but
Mist.
I don't remember.
It's all right. It's an okay quest line. The cloak is a legendary, but it's not a legendary like Thunder Fury
Yeah.
or
Everyone got it essentially.
Sulfuron. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, when Wrathion is like double agenting both sides. If you're a horde player, he tells you like your horde has my full support. Like let's make you win this war and make you the global superpower. And then he says the same thing to the alliance.
I didn't know. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
He's two timing. But the reason he's doing it is orange cat behavior. Hargan's cats are going wild. The reason he's doing it is he foresees the Burning Legion coming and bathing Azeroth in green flame, destroying the world.
Oh, I kind of remember something about that. Yeah.
He thinks the best chance for Azeroth is a united front.
Yeah, which is not wrong, I guess, in that.
Well, so that's the point. Like that's the reason he behaves that way, and it's also why we get Warlords of Draenor, which everybody forgets is Rathion's fucking fault.
Oh, really?
Yes, and we can get into that if you want, but like before we do, I want to. Well, no, it's a good little aside. You know how Warlords of Draenor happened?
All I know is it's like a timeline difference, right? Or is there something like that?
Hit me with the sum total of what you know about Warlords of Draenor, and don't be embarrassed or anything. It's a weird little thing.
Just that it's like an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
I mean that's really.
You know how we got there at all?
The bronze dragon flight. I don't know.
It's dude. If I could do what I wanted, not what I wanted, but like if I was writing the story and I didn't feel like I needed to stick to everything, Warlords would not happen. It would just it creates so many issues.
Yeah.
You okay, buddy? Yeah. Orange cat behavior.
Yeah. You all right?
Had a quick break there to check on Hargan's cat.
Little cat emergency there.
Like a little, not emergency, just natural little throat clearing. That startling if you don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrathion was the reason for Warlords of Draenor because he was like, I'm gonna back one of these factions because I want a unified front.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did, Varian, the leader of the Alliance, didn't take the opportunity to crush the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
He was furious, and so he's. Well, I'll tell it in
Wrathion was furious.
Wrathion, he was pissed.
Oh, really?
He's like, why didn't you destroy the Horde and unite Azeroth under one faction? Like World of Warcraft could have, in that moment. I mean, never really from a gameplay perspective.
Well, yeah.
But like in that moment, from a story perspective, all of Azeroth could have been brought under the Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Varian didn't do it.
Mm.
And Wrathion was pissed. He's like, why is your king so stupid? And the entire time he's been having these conversations with Anduin, there's been a waiter because they went in the Tavern in the Mists.
Mm-hmm.
That cool little in-between zone, the Thousand Stairs or the Misty Steps, I think. I don't remember what it's called.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
It's not a quest zone, but it is a separate zone.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. Like I like it a lot. Like the idea of it. But the Tavern in the Mists. And the guy who owns it is a guy named Tong or Tonk or
Tong. Yeah, Tonk. Yeah. Is it? I think it's
Tong. I think it's Tong.
Yeah.
But every time, no matter what was going on during that quest line, Rathian was be like, "Tong, get us some drinks. Tong, get us some food. Get us like." Oh, it's like Tong, Tong, Tong.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think about him. You just think he's whatever. And in that moment, he's like, you haven't learned a damn thing. When he's just yelling at us because Varian didn't destroy the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tong steps up, Tong or Tonk, just doesn't. He steps up and he's like, "You haven't learned a damn thing in this land.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the lesson that's etched into the Pandarin's very fur.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think we never wiped out the Mantid? Why do you think we built the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think the Horde and the Alliance were so strong? Because they have each other to constantly challenge one another to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
They're always getting stronger. They're always trying to one up each other, and that's what makes them strong."
Yeah.
That, I feel, is the core tenet of WoW that we have completely lost after Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah.
And it's such a cool thing because it's putting a positive spin on war, which war is not always pretty. It's not always honorable.
Yeah.
But it lets you have your faction pride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
While at the same time not forcing you to hate the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can hate them if you want, but you can also respect them.
The other thing too, if you think about like a foe like the Burning Legion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Demons and fell magic and a pretty serious adversary. To get the skill to be able to fight them, how do you get that? How do you get that strength?
Exactly. Because you're always, in a way, you're always at war, and because it's a fantasy world, you can choose to look at that in the context of like a positive context.
Yeah.
In our world,
What do they say? Iron sharpens iron, or iron.
Yeah, steel sharpens
Steel,
earth,
yeah,
something
steel,
like that. Yeah. I know what you're going for. I don't know the phrase, but like that in that moment. That's why sometimes when I'm describing the story of WoW, I say it begins in Manila and it ends in Pandaria.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a solid argument to be made that WoW is the story of Garrosh Hellscream.
I could buy that.
Solid argument
Yeah.
there, even though he doesn't show up till BC, but
Yeah.
solid. But again, his story really ends in Mists. It goes on into WoD a little bit more, and so while Garrosh is on trial for his crimes, he is freed by Rathian and some other people that Rathian kind of put into place. Like there's a significant bronze dragon who helps him escape. That's how he gets to alternate 30 years ago, Draenor.
Oh, okay.
And the first thing Garrosh does is murder that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like, and Rathian just isn't involved at all. But Rathian is the one who freed Garrosh, and is the one who made Warlords of Draenor happen.
Oh, okay.
That's why in Battle for Azeroth, when he shows up again for the first time,
how did I completely miss this?
because it happens in a book off screen.
Oh, okay.
It is the best Warcraft book ever written. It's called War Crimes.
Okay.
Strongly recommend it.
Okay.
I've often wondered if I'm tainted because I am a lawyer.
Yeah.
And the book is the trial of Garrosh Hellscream.
Okay.
But I don't think so because I loved it before I was a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's in one of the libraries. You can check it out.
Okay.
But it's the best WoW book, and it's written by Christy Golden, who's probably the best WoW author. I have a soft spot in my heart for Richard A. Knack.
Yeah.
Who wrote The War of the Ancients, and that's why Illidan is Illidan.
Illidan is fantastic. Such a good character.
Yeah. And you can chalk a lot of that up to Richard.
Okay.
Or I shouldn't call him Richard like I know him.
Yeah.
To Nat.
Oh, my buddy Rich.
My old buddy Rich. But all coming back to my original point where you were saying that you felt that your PvP experience didn't really add anything to the rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
In that context, long-winded aside, I disagree. Because my primary goal in rewriting WoW is to make WoW feel like Warcraft from start to finish.
Mm.
And it does not feel like Warcraft now in modern retail.
No, it doesn't at all.
And one of the core things about that is Dragonflight. Dragonflight is where this starts. I suppose you could say it starts in Shadowland, but I disagree, because Legion still felt like WoW.
Legion did. I like Legion. I played Legion.
Legion was a good one, and
Legion.
Legion didn't have any faction elements. Not really. Stormheim a little bit.
Yeah.
In that zone, but for the most part, Legion did not have a faction presence.
Mm-hmm.
You had a class presence, and that was fine.
Yep.
So I won't say that every expansion needs to have a factional presence, which is why I can say that I don't think this trend started in Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of other bad trends started in Shadowlands, but not this.
Okay.
This started in Dragonflight. In Dragonflight, we decided we didn't need faction identity anymore.
Mm.
In a way, that's fair, because that's entire, like, Battle for Azeroth is faction identity, the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the story of Mist of Pandaria without Pandaria.
Wait, Battle for Azeroth, wasn't that just where you just get the Azerite?
Yes,
right.
Yeah, that's all you
expansion's
do.
about.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you remember why you're getting Azerite?
To level up my legendaries.
It's WoW's nuclear arms race.
Yeah.
But yes, to level up your stupid necklace.
Yes, that's all I remember from that.
God, I don't know who thought. Honestly, and I mean, there must have been people who were like, "This isn't going to work."
Yeah.
But like, who thought that you could go from me having the Ashbringer or the Scepter of Sargeras or the Doomhammer?
Here's a necklace.
Here is a shitty disc.
Yeah.
Here is an awful necklace. Here's one necklace that you'll all have.
Yeah. Ashbringer was so iconic.
So cool.
You know? Yeah, I think a lot of the early Shadowmourne or Frostmourne.
Frostmourne, yeah. I liked what they did with Frostmourne, because people would complain a lot. It's like, when do I get Frostmourne? Like, you shouldn't get Frostmourne. And
I will say, that's one dislike that I have with the re-release of the classic expansions, is they made it easier to get the legendaries, which I could understand why they did, because it gives people an opportunity to get it if they didn't get it back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
But it feels cheesy, like playing arenas and Wrath of the Lich King. It felt like, at least at a certain rating, it felt like everyone had the legendary healing mace. Like everyone, if you didn't have it, that was rare. That was legendary.
Oh,
this guy doesn't have a legendary mace, and I did not have one because I didn't raid. I don't really like to raid, and I just had the regular whatever PvP 2200 weapon. But
yeah,
but I did like that kind of the feel to the legendaries, that they were rare and difficult to get. It wasn't like everyone gets a legendary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they also came with. It's like what you're describing is like the prestige of legendary, and that was huge.
Yeah,
and that's so important. And it was such a cool like
Warglaives.
Yes,
and they did the Warglaives. If you saw someone with both Warglaives, that was insane.
Dude. Because you had to earn that. That was not something. That was not random.
Yep.
There was no. I mean, there was what is it? RGN involved, or RNG. Yeah. I'm dyslexic, by the way. There's RNG involved, but like, because of that RNG, you knew he had to earn it.
You have to have persistence to, you cleared it every week.
You didn't
for the RNG to line up for you to get them.
You didn't just clear Illidan, you cleared him every week.
Every week, yeah.
But from my end, right, it's like every legendary, for the most part, came with a story, came with a quest.
Mm-hmm.
So like Sulfuron, is it Sulfurus or Sulfuron? Sulfuron. That didn't. That was just you got it from Ragnaros, but Ragnaros himself was a story. So like that came sort of like the Warglaives. But then here we go, Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the
Windseeker.
There it is. Yeah, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Oh man, we got like, if we ever get an audio mixer, that's got to be a button.
Yes,
we're just like. Like Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
Yeah.
If I don't like, if anybody listens to this and you guys don't spam that in our comments,
You should.
you've failed.
You should.
I'm
You
sorry.
need to.
I've been so kind to our viewers. Thank you guys for watching. But if you don't spam Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker in our comments, what are you doing?
Do you even play WoW?
You even who are you?
Who are you?
Jeez. I'm kidding. Please keep watching. But also, no, you should do better.
Iconic. That was a great weapon.
Such a good weapon,
Yeah.
and like it had a quest attached. You got it by like two keys from Molten Core bosses.
Yeah, and then you had to go to a ton of materials that. And the crazy thing about that was like, I don't think realistically, you couldn't get it by yourself. Like that was a guild effort to get that weapon for someone. It wasn't just like you just individually get that weapon. Like your guild got that weapon and decided who gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like who gets to be our Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, they had to take you through the raid through Molten Core, but then to get that, it had a raid boss at the end. It had Prince Thunderon, which we'll incorporate in the story because, like, well, like Wrathion, we were just talking about Wrathion, the rogue legendaries, the rogue daggers,
the daggers. Yep.
Yeah. To get them, you had to do his quest line, and that was when he was introduced. In so like Kata, you do the quest that like helps him be born, or like helps his egg happen. But then the rogues, for whatever reason, steal the egg. I still don't know why. I actually do not know the reason why they did. Because it was in possession of the Red Dragons, and the rogues of Ravenholt Manor were like mine. But then he hatches, and you see this crazy, like design like nothing in WoW before. You could argue that it was WoW's first person of color. I think that might be true. I might be wrong, but I think it's true.
I think you're probably right, actually. Yeah.
Like really, I mean, it's a little tricky because WoW is not a game of just humans. You've got people of color who are green.
Yeah.
Orcs and night elves and all that, but if we're talking about like representation, which is not a battle I usually get into, but that was the first time, Wrathion.
Yeah.
And he wasn't just the person of color, he was black, he had a turban, he was wearing all the white. Such a good design.
I actually really liked his design. He was a cool looking character for sure.
And he's the son of Deathwing.
Yeah.
And so like, and he's an uncorrupted black dragon. So before this, black dragons are just evil. But now we have one who isn't. And the first thing he does is a rogue legendary weapon questline where the premise of the questline is you are assassinating all remaining black dragons. He's like, yeah, my flight is corrupt and evil. Let's sweep the board clean so I can start fresh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the last black dragon.
Yeah. There's the alarm.
Oh, man. All right, we're recording again. We have such a bad habit of pausing these recordings and having amazing discussions.
We actually,
like
the best conversations we have is definitely when we're not recording. Yeah.
Well, because it's like in my head, I feel like I'm supposed to be guiding this along a linear path, and like we just got heavy into Dragonflight and like the Red Dragon, like the character of Crassus specifically. We got into, and like we're not gonna rehab the whole discussion right now, but like the character of Crassus being our window into the Dragonflights, because Crassus was allowed to be imperfect. And it's my opinion that a character like Alexstrasza, who is so ancient and so wise and so benevolent, and she was the queen of all dragons for one, so that means that she was a character that 4 other ancient characters deferred to. Like 4 other characters who were so powerful, they were essentially gods in their own spheres, looked to her for guidance and leadership. But then on top of that, she was the queen of life. So like if you are alive, which yes, you are, she has some kind of dominion over you. That kind of power, that kind of presence comes with a kind of grace and air of nobility that is almost unchallengeable. It puts her on a pedestal, but she should be on one. That was sort of the crux of the conversation. And that's why Richard A. Knack I don't know that he did this on purpose, but through his creation of the character of Crassus, he gave us a window into her through a character like her who could not be flawed. Or at least if she was flawed, she wasn't allowed to make the kind of idiotic mistakes that they would later write her to have. Like, I've never considered that our slaves don't like being slaves. Bad take.
Yeah.
But Crassus was the youngest of her consorts. She was
So
he's allowed to be imperfect while he is adjacent to her.
could I just get a little bit of context on that? Because I did not play Dragonflight, so I don't know
What do you mean?
what the whole slave thing.
Okay. So the dragons, right? The dragons exist, but there's also the dragonkin.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's the dragon-looking centaurs. I
The
think,
humanoid kind of.
yeah, or like the dragon spawn. So like, they have the centaur build. So like the four legs, but then it comes up.
Oh, yep.
Into,
Okay.
Centaurs are funny, right? Because they're not half horse and half man. They are
Mainly horse, I guess.
they are 3/4 horse and then 2/4 man.
Yeah.
They are more parts than they have 2 rib cages if you look at their anatomy.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's an upsetting thought, isn't it?
That is. I've never even considered that before.
Where do you think their heart is? Is it in their lower rib cage or their top rib cage?
Oh my god, you just totally just changed my whole life. Do they have 2 hearts? How does this work?
What's wild too is like, you could effectively have a man centaur,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just take your anatomy, and then put a torso where your neck is.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. That's the design of centaurs. It's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's never think of this again.
I don't ever want to think about this again. This is making me uncomfortable.
The dragon. There's the dragon spawn. Those are dragon shaped like centaur, but like with that build.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 4 legs, and then their body extends upwards, and they have the upper half of a bipedal torso.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the draconid. So the draconid are how D&D would define dragonborn, but like dragon man.
Okay.
And we've never really understood their relationship to the dragonflights. Not really. It was never quite defined. But they've always been like fanatically loyal to their dragonflight.
Okay.
So no matter what's going on, like they're there. And even in Dragonflight, that's still there. Like, if you click on those NPCs, you click them and they're like, honor all dragons. But like, they owe their existence presumably to their given dragonflight.
That is interesting. So, yeah, so they have their own dragonflight. So you would think at some point there's some sort of familial tie there. But then how do they exist?
Why do they exist?
Why do they? Yeah. Why?
We don't know. And if I was gonna,
it's just something we kind of gloss over.
If I was gonna guess, I'm pretty sure I could find this information. Like, I bet this.
Yeah,
Deathwing liked to experiment. He was a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, he was kind of a builder. Like, that's something they get into one of the more recent novels that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Drakthir exists now, and oh man, I got into this with Marsh, and we just got stuck on the whole like the scaly furry thing, which like is true, but like, it's also like, yeah. I'm not sure where Draken had come from, but also like, I guess it was an assumption that we all made that like there's a reason that these creatures are loyal to dragons.
Yeah.
And that's fair. We were operating off of an assumption. But also we were operating off of that assumption because Alexstrasza herself was like this unimpeachable being. Like, she was without fault.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's why so many things followed her. That's why so many things loved her.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, she's the polar opposite to like Queen Hajara.
Yeah.
Who was corrupt and everyone loved her, but she abused that love.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quest line in Dragonflight which just always kills me. It's around the time when I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. I will complete this because I feel obligated to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm checking out of this expansion now, guys.
Yeah.
The Dragon Isles got sealed off around the War of the Ancients, the second invasion of the first invasion of the Burning Legion.
Okay.
The dragons went to go fight, but while they were leaving, it's like, let's seal off the Dragon Isles so that they can't be hit in case we fall.
Okay.
And while they're gone, for whatever reason, they forget how to get back. I actually don't know why they forget how to get back.
We just forgot. We had no idea how to get back.
I have no idea why they forgot how to get back.
Yeah, that's
Makes no sense. Fuck.
I don't know. I guess you could say so. They sealed it off.
There's a special Titan machine that they use to hide the Dragon Isles.
I guess you could say it's a byproduct of that. You know that it kind of influenced them maybe to forget the way back.
Could be, and that's part of part of the narrative is like the dragons have been like pawns of the Titans. They've been manipulated.
Yeah.
That's part of the new story, which fundamentally I don't mind. It's just the way that they're doing it that kind of sucks because it makes this character that so many of us have deferred to for so long an idiot.
Yeah.
Dragonflight makes Alexstrasza fundamentally stupid.
Yeah.
Like objectively unintelligent. Because these dragons have been gone for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
They come back. Alexstrasza sits down in her throne. And then there's a rebellion. Because for 10,000 years they haven't had a queen. She sits down. And she's like... Some of the Draconid don't like it. It's like, you have been gone for ages. Why do we need you? And she's like, huh. I guess I never considered that you guys would have an alternate perspective. That is not the opinion the Queen of Life, respected by all, would have.
Yeah. That's kind of silly.
That is not like because these are things that we know. Alexstrasza has, for her entire 20,000, however old existence, commanded the respect and allegiance of all who meet her.
Yeah,
she's universally respected. That is a character who would not take for granted the allegiance of her followers. Like, that is just inherently true.
Yeah.
If she was the kind of person who like would come sit down and be like, wow, I never considered that our slaves are slaves, no one would respect her the way that everyone does. This just doesn't connect.
Yeah, that does seem kind of odd.
These pieces just don't work.
Yeah.
That's one of the most... When I mentioned in the first video that there are times when I will attack the narrative viciously, this is what I had in mind.
Yeah.
We're going to go at it, boys. In like 10 expansions, the gloves are coming off. I'm not going to be nice anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names, but like, no. You ruined Alexstrasza. You took Alexstrasza, a character who was so cool that she could have come back, sat on that chair, and every character would have been like, I'm so glad you're finally back.
Yeah.
And then you made her stupid. No. Dude, every time your incense burner goes off, I think we're melting the laptop.
Yeah, it does look like that, yeah.
For context, right behind what we're recording on, Hargan's got a really cool like fragrance incense.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know, like a air wick thing or something. I don't know. Yeah. Some kind of diffuser, oil diffuser. I don't know, something.
Every like 10 minutes, it puffs out, and it's right behind the laptop. I was like, oh god, did I get...
the laptop's on fire.
Have I been talking so much that I fried the cortex? Oh, man. Yeah. But this all... I remember where we started, and it starts with legendaries. So I was getting on with Rathion.
I just... Quick question for you that just popped into my head. Is there a canonical reason why Alexstrasza never stepped forward as like the leader of Azeroth?
Oh, like no, she never campaigned for the leader of all life?
Yeah, and said like, listen, Horde Line, like, shut up, sit down. We're gonna go fight the Burning Legion now. Get behind me, you know.
I think part of
free will, like
free will is probably in there.
Yeah.
Is there a given in print reason?
Just by off what we were just talking about, she is very respected, and you know.
Yeah.
It just seems like if she flew down and was like, "Hey, listen, you guys are you're following me now."
I think how I've always interpreted it. But is there an actual given reason why?
No.
No.
Okay.
But how I look at it is like this character considers herself to be, if it lives, if it is alive, she considers it one of her subjects, but almost also one of her children.
Yeah.
And so, were she to ever assert that kind of dominance, there would be pushback. That pushback would lead to conflict. That pushback would lead to suffering. She would have to kill her children. So, while she's considered the queen of all life, I think she views herself as the guardian of all life.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's probably a more apt title, I would say. Isn't that essentially the role that the Titans kind of laid out for?
The dragon aspects were protectors of spheres, yeah. But like, the idea is that she was so good at it, and she is so benevolent and so wise and so like powerful. She has such a presence that all of life kind of defers to her in a way. Yeah. Like, but she also doesn't overstep because of her wisdom. She's like, I am the ruler of, like, I'm not the ruler. I'm the guardian of all life. It is my job to protect everything that's living and the balance of that life. It's not my place to tell the Horde and the Alliance what to do. Okay. And it pains me to watch the Horde and the Alliance kill each other. Okay. But that is their choice. That is their, and like, I respect my children's free will, their autonomy.
I could see that, yeah, in like the parental kind of aspect of, you know, you got two sons and they're rivals and they're going to war, and you know, you just, as the parent, you just kind of step back and you know, you can't really take sides in that scenario.
And all of that again makes Dragonflight even more damning for making this character, who, yes, in a way has a claim on being the leader of Azeroth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like, and in some ways, a lot of people defer to her, not as their leader, but in that same capacity. Like whenever she shows up, it's kind of like how people talk to Malfurion. Yeah. Like even members of the Horde is like Master Stormrage. Yeah. Like, just looking at you like you are Azeroth's first druid. Even though I guess technically we're enemies, I need to respect you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Although,
it's also how a lot of people talk to Thrall now since he became the world shaman. Like,
what? Actually, real quick, because I haven't played the later expansions. What's going on? What's Thrall doing? Where's he at? Where's my homie at? What's he doing?
Oh, you watched the Battle for Azeroth cinematics, right? If you didn't, we're gonna after we're done with the podcast.
Was Zappy Boy? I mean,
yeah, Sarfang's Mak'gora.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, we might still watch them.
Yeah, we probably should rewatch them.
Those are great. Thrall.
I know he's not the war chief anymore.
He's not the war chief, but he's back in a more war chief capacity than he has been in a while.
Oh, okay.
Thrall founded the Horde and felt the need to step away from that role because the powers that spoke to him as a shaman, so the elements, the fundamental matrix of Azeroth. I use that phrase, fundamental matrix, a lot. We need to make an the bedrock of Azeroth was in pain because of Deathwing.
Yep.
So Thrall stepped away from the Horde to go focus on being a shaman and not the leader of the Horde. He put Garrosh in charge. There were consequences to him putting Garrosh in charge. One of his closest friends, Karen, dies. There's a quest line in Cataclysm where Thrall gets shattered into 4 pieces. Do you remember this?
No.
Okay, so Thrall gets shattered into 4 pieces, and you, the players, travel with Agra.
Oh wait, with Agra, yeah, I actually do remember that. You got to put them together, yeah.
And it's actually some of WoW's better writing because like. I don't remember what wind was. Oh God, I wish I did.
Because it was his like 4 elementals. But like
when he's underwater, he's in despair.
Yeah.
When he's a stone, he's like, I am patient, and Agra keeps getting
more.
In
fire, he's angry.
When he's in fire, he's pissed. Yeah. And one of the one of the lines is, Garrosh, King was.
Oh Oh,
He's
Thrall.
furious.
No.
And that was before Garrosh had fallen, so we didn't know what Garrosh was going to be a raid boss in an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us, even on the Alliance, from talking to me, hoped he wouldn't be. We hoped Garrosh was going to find his way, but Thrall was pissed.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So then what happens with Garrosh happens. Garrosh becomes a villain. And man, it's wild too, because like I just want to sit on that for a little bit. Garrosh becoming a villain. In Kata, I remembered listening to podcasts, and back then faction identity was strong, and like we were all very divided,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, "Fuck Garrosh, man! Garrosh fucking sucks."
Mm-hmm.
But we discussed like what might happen to Garrosh. I remember like the most pro Alliance YouTuber at the time was hosting a chat, and people were like, "I wonder if Garrosh would get corrupted by the old gods," and he was like, to his credit, I actually don't think Garrosh would get corrupted. I feel like if the old gods whispered to him, he'd be like, "What is this voice in my head? Fuck you, voice!
Yeah.
Get out of my head!" And I remember thinking, like,
crush you.
that's so Garrosh. And then
Yeah.
like an expansion later, I'm like, man, y'all really did that?
Yeah.
That sucks. But like that happened, and Thrall was there to take him down, and Thrall was ready to crush him, like ready to split his head, and Varian stopped him.
Whoa!
That's
really?
that's the final Mist of Pandaria cinematic.
Okay.
That's how we get the book I've been talking about, War Crimes.
Man, it's actually unreal that I've played Miss. I don't remember any of this stuff.
It's all good.
But I mean, like I said, I PvP has been my
Hey man, yeah, fine.
that's my thing.
And what's wild too is like that's been your thing, and WoW still means as much to you as it does to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like you've been able to embrace it.
Yeah,
from this completely separate facet.
Yeah,
this totally different fractal.
Mm-hmm.
But like WoW is as important to you as it is to me.
I think there's people that even play WoW simply just for like the economics. There's people that just play the auction house all day long. That they just love doing that. That's
why I made craft. Like for our little story, there's one character per race.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into this with Marsh a little bit, but you haven't gotten to hear it. Just to again sort of ease the apprehension. Not only that you guys feel that I feel, I've been struggling with this script just to get past introducing these little characters. Because they're OCs, and I don't want them to be OCs, because there's a certain stigma attached to, hey guys, look at my OC. For me, they're a way to highlight cool aspects of the lore that I'm not going to be able to highlight any other way.
Yeah.
Like, anybody listening, again, Hargan wasn't here, but I'm going to go over it really fast. The original Orcish horde from Draenor, had 14 orc clans. We know the fate of 13 of them. We know what happened to 13 of them. Not all of them had grand fates. Like there's the Bone Jewer clan, which were cannibals.
Yeah.
They kind of all just died. And you can fight their chieftain in Burning Crusade. He has a very unceremonious role. He is a named NPC who you can kill, and he doesn't drop loot. But we know that happened to him. Like, it's there. All of them have something. Like the Shattered Hand, they stop being an orc clan, they become the Horde's spy ring. Canonically, the Stormreavers are wiped out. We're turning them into pirates. The Twilight's Hammer, they stop being an orc clan, they become a doomsday cult to the old gods. Frostwolves, Warsong. The only one we don't have a fate for, the Thunderlord clan. And the Thunderlords are orcs. You know a bit about Warhammer Fantasy? Warhammer, do you?
The 40K or
Fantasy, yeah.
Oh, fantasy.
40K will factor in a little bit. It's the same energy.
A little bit Sigmar and just yeah.
Do you know what Troll Slayers are?
Ooh. Nope.
Okay. So a Troll Slayer is a dwarf who has been shamed in some way.
Oh.
So what he does is he takes an oath. He shaves his head into a mohawk. And then goes around dual-wielding 2 axes. Never wearing a shirt. He's covered in tattoos. And his goal in life is to die fighting the biggest, ugliest fucking thing he can find.
Oh, okay.
And if he kills it, that sucks because he's not dead. And so now he has to go find the next ugliest, biggest thing he can find.
Gotcha.
Now, that energy is what the Thunderlords carry. The Thunderlords aren't seeking death, but they are seeking the hunting of the biggest, ugliest.
They were hunting like
giant slayers.
The Grons.
Gron was one of them.
And the dragons and
the dragons and the Ogron. Yes.
What zone was that?
Bladespire.
Bladespire. Yeah.
So fun fact: the Thunderlord aren't in that. There's a Thunderlord stronghold. They're not in it.
That's not their clan in there?
It's a bunch of ogres. And Rexxar is also there.
Oh yeah. Oh, it is ogres and Rexxar. Yeah.
They're in Thunderlord stronghold. That is their ancestral home. They're not in it.
Oh, okay.
We don't know specifically. We don't like. I think it's said. It's explicitly said they got turned into Fel Orcs, but there are no named Thunderlord NPCs.
Okay.
Like, so we just don't know where they are. And their chieftain specifically, his name is Fenris Wolfbrother. Canonically, Thrall's uncle. Very weird.
Okay.
That's never going to come up or be relevant.
Yeah.
But like, we just don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
We know what happens to Grom. We know what happens to Kargath. We know what happens to every other chieftain of that time.
Mm-hmm.
We do not know what happens to Fenris.
Okay.
And he kind of shows up in Warlords of Draenor, but he's a totally different character than what was established in like books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's an asshole in Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah.
And the Thunderlords show up in Warlords of Draenor as like petty enemies. Also not characterized very well as you come to know them. Story for another time. My plan is, because we have fates for all of these, and again, there's just no way this would ever come up. The Thunderlords are a really cool idea, but they just fundamentally don't matter. And there's no way for me to make them matter. Unless the playable orc character in our new story, her name is Magus Coldeye. And by the way, I think I've talked about this a bit. All of these names I am pulling from Warcraft 3's pool of hero characters.
Yeah, you mentioned
the randomly generated hero characters.
Mm-hmm.
I know I talked about this with Marsh, Big Marsh. So her name is Magus Coldeye. She is the last Thunderlord.
Okay.
Fenris Wolfbrother, because we don't really know what happened to him. We have a general idea of where he was the last time we saw him. I think it was, he's retreating back into the Dark Portal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of go ahead and say he went back. He saw what Ner'zhul was doing. Draenor was tearing apart, and before they destroy the Dark Portal, he takes one orc child and flees through the portal. He saves one member of his clan because that's all he can do. It's all he's able to do.
Yeah.
And the way he's kind of characterized in the book Beyond the Dark Portal is he misses when orcs weren't fell. Life was better before we did this. We made a mistake.
Simpler times.
It's kind of that old orc honor a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna carry that through, and he's gonna die. Like he will not be a character in the new rewrite.
Okay.
But he will be the backstory for our main horde character.
Okay.
She is the shaman of the Thunderlord clan. But after he passes and she is the last Thunderlord, she decides to take a note from some other orcish clans, like Handbook, and is like, if it's just me, we're going to die out.
Yeah.
I am opening my clan. We are no longer just a clan. We are the Thunderlord Warband.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I made up Warband before Warbands became what they are now.
Yeah.
Which is like your favorite characters on your account.
Mm-hmm.
I know you haven't played retail, so you haven't seen it.
I kind of heard about the Warbands thing. It sounds like a cool concept.
Warbands in WoW now is everything is account wide, and that's good in a lot of ways.
I think that's I think
it's okay. It does unfortunately like undercut the name. Maybe you have a better idea for what it should be called. But the Thunderlord clan is now the Thunderlord like guild. Essentially, that's what it is. That's why I kind of made up the characters, and that's why I'm so like adamant on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're a way to continue to highlight cool lore. That's what the whole idea is about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna write like dialogue for it. I'm not gonna write scenes.
Yeah.
It's going to be like whenever I was like, oh, hey, Magus does this. That means we're on the orc path. As opposed to like, on the Alliance side, it's a paladin thing. Like, do you know anything about the first 5 paladins?
Uther?
Yeah, he's one of them. You're already doing better than Marsh did.
Really? Okay. Uther, Tyrion?
Yes.
Tyrion.
Two going strong.
Turalian?
Yes. 3. All right. I'd be surprised if you got the next 2. Specifically, you're never going to get the last one, but let me see if you get the 4th one. Thanks, Stratholm.
Yeah. I was just thinking Stratholm for some reason.
Or Scarlet Crusade. It's a pretty obscure name.
I don't know. Not Rivendare, right?
No, not Rivendare. Same. So it's almost not fair because it's Sidon Death Rohan, but I don't think you end up fighting him. You fight Balnazar.
Okay.
So the original 5 paladins, you went over Uther the Lightbringer, big name.
Yeah.
Hard to not know him.
Yeah.
Tyrion Fordring, the fucking Ashbringer.
Yep.
Not the first Ashbringer, but yeah, he ends up.
Yeah.
Turalian, big name.
Yep.
Sidon Dathrohan is the guy who founded the Scarlet.
I don't think I've ever even heard that name. That's crazy.
Founded the Scarlet Crusade.
Huh. Okay.
And you fight his. But he founded it, and he's almost. I don't know when, but he is killed by the Dreadlord Balnazar.
Okay.
And then his corpse is possessed by Balnazar.
Okay.
So right from the get-go, the Burning Crusade is led by demons.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a 5th one, and his name is Gavinrad the Dire.
Yeah.
Who is famous for nothing.
Okay.
He has never done anything.
Okay.
And it sucks because he's killed by Arthas in the same chapter that Arthas kills Uther. Because Uther is going through trying to get that urn, slaughtering the Knights of the Silver Hand.
Yep.
One of the ones he kills is Gavinrad.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know this at the time. I don't even know when this was decided. But Gavinrad is one of the original 5 paladins.
Oh, okay.
He's the only one that comes from Stormwind.
Okay.
So when Stormwind falls in Warcraft 1, the refugees run to Lordaeron.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Where did how did the first 5 start?
Yeah.
How did the Naru come? Like how
No,
did they
not the Naru.
What was their connection to the light?
I'm actually on that track. Gavinrad Stormwind falls. The Stormwind refugees flee the horde. They run, and they take boats up to Lordaeron. So they go from the south to the north. They're led there by Anduin Lothar and Kengar. But Gavinrad comes with them.
Okay.
He's just a knight at that point. He's not a paladin because paladins don't exist yet.
Okay.
But they get there, and there's this whole political thing, and Lothar helps found the alliance between the 7 kingdoms. Right after the meeting that founds the alliance, the Warcraft Pope, basically, his name's Alonsus Fowl.
Oh, yep.
Yep. He walks up to Lothar and is like, I understand that the orcs have a kind of magic we've never seen before. I have had this idea. I believe the time is finally right. I would like to take warriors, a combination of warriors and priests, and train them together in both martial arms, so like in the arts of war, and train them as priests. So they will have the powers of light and healing, and they will wear armor and wield weapons. Paladins. Okay. The first 4 candidates were Uther, who was a warrior, Tyrion and Sidon, who were also warriors. Turalian was the only one who was a priest first.
Okay.
Anduin, Lothar hears this, and he's like, I have someone in mind. One of my knights, Gavinrad. He would fit in great.
Okay.
So he's added in. That's pretty cool. That's a cool little thing. And then he does fucking nothing for his entire life and then dies.
Yeah. So that's okay. So then they learned the light and how to swing it.
Yeah, they learned the light and how to swing it. There's put that on a shirt. The light and how to swing it. So again, in the spirit of taking cool stuff that we're never going to be able to talk about otherwise.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be an ass pull in the 14th expansion. You know,
Dad Gavin, right?
whip out, yeah, that 5th paladin. He's actually been.
Well, what if Gavin Red had a son, and what if that son was our alliance character? Is a human paladin who, prior to his father's death, remembered his father's, like, his father is not from Lordaeron. The Knights of the Silver Hand were from Lordaeron, but his father wasn't, and he was one of the founders. In honor of him, he moved down to Stormwind to help rebuild it, specifically Northshire Abbey, and that's why he starts in Northshire Abbey, the same way the Horde starts in Razor Hill.
Okay.
It's just cool lore. Like, and I get that they're still OCs.
Yeah.
I get that they're still me making them up, but I really like them because they let me highlight more cool shit.
Yeah.
That's why I've been so like, nah, let me do it. Let me cook. Let me, like, just hear me out.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Let me just, yeah. Because, like, I don't want to hear about my characters either. I don't want to, like, sit down and be like, all right, guys, today they have a beach episode, and then, like, my night elf character, you get to see her in a bikini. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna write the dialogue. It's just more ways to highlight cool shit.
Yeah.
How did we get on this?
Good question.
We need a babysitter.
We really do.
We require a chaperone.
And the topic of this podcast is derailed.
You're like, ooh, shiny. All right, let's take a quick break and try to recenter ourselves. Recording again. You can keep eating peanuts. It's okay. We got onto it because we started talking about, like, the different reasons people play WoW. Like, I played it for the story. You played it for PvP. We were mentioning, like, people play WoW just for the economy, for the economics, for the joy of crafting, which sounds bizarre as hell to me.
Yeah.
But I also recognize it's a huge part of WoW. It's a huge part of MMOs. Like, there's always that representation, which is why I made a crafter in each one of the in the Horde and the Alliance Guild. So, like, I just waxed way too long about the Horde Guild. That's the Thunderlord, like the Thunderlord Warband, or for short, the Thunderslayers. The Alliance Guild, the guy Gavin Red Jr., Jorn the Redeemer, whatever you call him. He founds a knightly order called the Knights of the Lost Ashes, in honor of, like, Uther and King Tyrannus and his father, who died protecting the king's ashes, which are just dumped out somewhere. Like Arthas takes that urn, dumps it out, and
damn,
they're gone. So, like, the Knights of the Lost Ashes, or for short, Ash Knights.
Okay.
That's the Alliance Guild is the Ash Knights. The Horde Guild is the Thunderslayers.
Okay.
I kind of like to think that the names get shortened on the Alliance side because of, like, paperwork. On the Horde side because they were drunk and somebody said it and they were like, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
But, like, I was only going to do 3 because there's only 3 quest tracks. But there's 4 races, and I was like, what do I do with, like, the dwarves and the trolls? I was like, man, the crafters need some love.
Yeah.
Crafters have not gotten any kind of significant in-game love.
Yeah.
For years, until Dragonflight, and they still haven't gotten much. They got an update, that's nice, but they still haven't really gotten quests. Like, they got quests in Legion, and they were fun. I crafted in Legion because it was worth it for the narrative for me.
Yeah,
I was a jewel crafter.
Okay.
And you would go around and, like, that one row, like Artisan's Row on Dalaran, and, like, sorry. I'm starting to get drunk.
Yeah. By the way, if we did not mention it, we have been drinking all day long. Which also we believe is the perfect concoction for a good podcast.
Yeah.
Simply drink all day long, and yeah, the quality will be fantastic.
Just if we start day drinking.
Yeah, we'll just day drink.
we'll be so incoherent the whole day. By the time we get to the recording.
Yeah,
we'll have nothing left but to be on point.
Exactly. No, but to your point, regarding the crafting, I will say in Classic and BC, the crafting felt so integral to my class identity.
Yeah.
Right, because I played a warrior. That was my first character was a warrior, and a warrior as a blacksmith. The weapons that you would make were fantastic. They were really good, especially in BC, Burning Crusade. Fantastic, especially for PvP. They were really good. The mace was really strong.
Oh yeah.
But then that kind of just went away. I felt like just professions weren't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people maybe who played mages probably felt the same thing as, if they were tailors, I'm sure they could probably craft some gear that was really good for them. But then I don't know, that just kind of went away. It seemed like after a few expansions, just didn't matter what class you were with, what professions you picked up. It just didn't matter.
Yeah, and crafting became less a way to progress in endgame and more a way to generate revenue.
Yeah. Yep.
And I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, we could look at it from Guild Wars again. Guild Wars 2. I didn't play much of the original Guild Wars, but like Guild Wars 2 have legendary weapons exclusively as crafted. There are no legendaries that you can get from drops in raids or dungeons or quests.
Okay.
If you want legendary weapons exclusively, you need to craft them or you need to buy them off of an auction house.
Okay.
I don't.
That.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think that's better.
Yeah.
But I know it gives crafters an identity in the game. An
identity, yeah. Definitely.
It's like, I don't know, I never got you to watch Log Horizon, right? It's an anime.
I don't think I've seen it, no.
I think you, uniquely among my friends, could enjoy it. I tried to get other Matt to watch it. He hated it. Hated it from the get-go.
Really? Okay.
And there's different reasons for that, but like one of them is he has never played an MMO. He's never engaged in MMO.
Oh, okay.
And it is very much like your classic isekai setup. In fact, some of the characters mock that. Like one of the guys is like, "So we're stuck in our favorite MMO? What a bunch of fantasy novel crap!" Like,
I gotta be honest, I really enjoy the isekai animes. As an MMO player, they're great.
You would dig Log Horizon because it is the one isekai I've watched where I was like, this feels like what would happen if a bunch of MMO players suddenly had to found a society.
Yeah. Like Sword Art Online.
Oh,
I thought was so good.
So much potential.
Yeah. It had a lot of potential. I just enjoyed the like you said, there were parts in that where it really did seem like if MMO players were in a game, that's what they would do, like the guilds they formed, like the methodology that they were clearing the dungeon.
Yeah,
I thought was pretty accurate.
I think so. Yeah, I loved what Sword Art promised. I don't think it delivered.
No, it definitely did not deliver. It got worse as it progressed.
After they got out of Sword Art Online.
yeah. Gun Art Online or what? I don't know.
Gun Gale. Pretty good name, but bad execution. And of course, in Gun Gale Online, of course, Kirito gets a lightsaber.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah, we'll make a gun game, but one guy's gonna have a sword.
Somebody has described Kirito to me as pants, where it's like he's not meant to be a character. You're supposed to put him on, and then you get to be him.
Yeah.
But it's funny too, because like you look at his harem.
Yeah,
which he has. Like he has a harem.
He does. Yes.
Okay, you've got the bottom bitch, like the main girl, and then you've got the crafty girl, and then you've got the shy sniper girl, and then you've got the lolly, which god damn it, what we can't seem to evolve past this. You've got the cat girl, and then there's Klein.
Yeah.
Whose purpose remains unclear. And the only thing I can think of, and I'm stealing this line from another video, but it's like, I guess he's a benchmark. Like, fuck it, it's his harem. He can have a guy in it if he wants.
Yeah. Why not?
Otherwise, right? I don't know why he's in the story or what purpose he serves.
Yeah,
except that he's Kirito's boyfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, and I am not a shipper. I don't engage in shipping. I think that's one way to lose your mind. But like, as far as Klein goes, I can't see another reason for him to exist.
Yeah.
Like Kirito's just like, no, I just had to check off my boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
Anyway, sorry.
yeah,
Enough
sorry
about
guys.
anime. Sorry.
When did it, well, no, I'm
Apologies.
not going to get off it yet, but like Sword Art Online specifically, because it is players of an MMO who get pulled into MMO. So it starts fresh, but it's also these were players, so there were guilds.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they're in a city, and suddenly there's no rules, there's no anything. You guys just live in an MMO now.
Mm-hmm.
The main character tries to organize a government, and he succeeds, and the way he does it is one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. I don't want to spoil it. I also don't want to explain it, because the last person I tried to explain it to, my explanation made them not want to watch it.
Okay.
The government he founds it through like the top guilds on the server. So there's like 5 raiding guilds,
Okay.
3 crafting guilds, and like 2 RP guilds, and then a bunch of smaller guilds that will operate as proxies for other small guilds.
Okay.
Like they do not represent all small guilds, but they will represent the interests of small guilds, because small guilds otherwise wouldn't have interests in this council.
Okay.
And I thought it was so telling. Again, this is me like repping. This is the best representation of an MMO in anime.
Mm-hmm.
It also feels like a game you could play, like the way they set up the classes, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
And they felt that, okay, if we're gonna make a government out of MMO players, there will be raiders and they will be the most. Yeah. But we need crafting guilds.
Yep. 100%.
And like that was such a big thing. So I want to, as we go forward, I don't want these characters to just be throwaway characters. And that's why I kind of feel so strongly about, again, more strongly about these guilds of created characters. Is like this way, I get to focus on the 3 quest lines, the 3 quest tracks per faction. But then each faction also gets a crafter, and we can tell stories that way.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't admittedly have any plans right now. I'm still struggling to get past Classic.
Yeah.
It's so much, and trying to synthesize it all down.
Yeah, it's a lot. And
to keep the symmetry. The Horde has more dungeons. Flat out true. You guys have way more dungeons.
Yeah.
Way more. You guys have 2 more dungeons.
Wailing Cavern, Shadowfang Keep, Ragefire Chasm.
Yep.
Even RFK, Razorfen Crawl, and Downs.
I'm combining those 2, but yes, still big. I mean, Scarlet Monastery.
Oh yeah. I mean, oh man, we do have all the dungeons.
You have all the dungeons. Huh. And it's arguable that at a certain level, no matter what zone they're in, they stop being exclusively Horde. Like I think it'd be pretty hard to argue that Scarlet Monastery was just a Horde dungeon. Yeah, like Ragefire Chasm for sure. Is a Horde. You know, it's weird because that is your stockades.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the stockades was not a starter dungeon. That's like an upper level dungeon.
Yeah,
or like I'd say it's a mid-tier dungeon. Yeah, 20s, 30s.
20, yeah, okay.
I'd actually remember. It was, you were not supposed to do it right after Dead Mines. Like Dead Mines happened, and then you're supposed to go off and do other things, and eventually Stockades would be there for you.
Dead Mines was a cool dungeon. I like Dead Mines.
Dead Mines is a good dungeon. I feel like Stockades is 40. I think I might be pulling that out of my ass, but I feel like Stockades.
I don't think it's 40. No, I don't.
Maybe I'm thinking of like after.
I want to say like high 20s or something, or mid 20s.
You could be right. But trying to balance it, because like I'm not going to balance it in every like there will be expansions where the Horde story is more prominent. There will be expansions where the Alliance story is more prominent. I'm not going to try to make everything even all the time, but I do feel like in Classic it needs to be. Yeah. And like if not even, at least it must rhyme. Yeah. And it's been different. So like one of them, I talked about this with Marshall.
Did Marshall played? Marshall plays?
Yeah, Marshall. He hasn't currently played for the same reason I haven't. Although I have played more recently than he has. Yeah. He got really into Season of Discovery. Well, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I liked Sod. Sod was fun. I liked it.
I would have liked to. It wasn't that I didn't want to. It's that Marsh is much smarter than me. Yeah. So, well, he and I had the same course load. He could finish his.
And they have time to play.
And have time to play. Well, I could not. Yeah. That guy is. It's one of the few instances where you can look at someone and be like, you are provably It is not a matter of nuance. It is
Yeah.
not a matter of perspective. Your brain functions in a more efficient capacity than mine.
Yeah.
That's just facts.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you mean? It's not rare. Everybody I look at. Everybody I look at.
oh, you're right. oh man, says the tech genius over here.
Oh no,
Man,
hardly.
Your failing is you're lazy. Like that's
Yeah, you're not wrong.
you like it's. I mean, that's like that goes back to that's biblical, man. Like the sin of sloth is so deadly because it robs the most of potential.
That's actually the funny thing with tech people is they are lazy and they will try and automate everything, and they will do a lot of work to not do work.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of proud of this. I just finished a program. I taught myself to code Python, and I just made a little script that helps me out in my day to day at work every day. Very useful. And I finally just the other day got it to work perfectly, and it was it was good. It was a nice win. It was a nice win.
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels good.
Hell yeah. I look forward to what you build one day when you finally just get, because I know at some point something's gonna happen at work where you're gonna be like, fuck this, and you're just gonna come home and you're gonna write Facebook or something. You're just gonna write the next thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe
Facebook might be stretching it because that's a lot of code, but like you're gonna come home and invent something, and then you're just gonna be like, hey, I made this thing, and then I'm gonna come over here and explain to you what you just did. I was like, Hargan, do you realize that what you just did is gonna make us both rich?
I'll be like, no. This actually just makes my day a little bit easier. So
excellent. How about this? Trust me.
Yeah.
And I'll even write it up. I will not have a stake in this company. If we get rich, throw me your bone.
Okay.
But like, I am so sure. I don't know when that's gonna happen. We might be in our 40s, but like,
Yeah.
I am so certain eventually you're gonna get so irritated with a 9 to 5 that you just do something that gets you out of it.
Yeah.
Your aversion to extra work will one day propel us into the stratosphere of economic success.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident.
Someday we'll get there. Eventually.
I mean, shit. Why do you think we're doing this? We can't monetize. I feel like I say that
someday, eventually.
Every podcast I point out that we can't ever make money off of this.
Yes.
Oh man. But yeah. So sort of getting back to it, crafters. Like crafters should not be forgotten.
100%.
I don't think any aspect of this can be forgotten, and that's why, again, I'm so inclined to have you in this. Because even if you don't know the lore, while I'm making new lore, I want a PvPer to be there and be like, that feels wrong or that feels right.
Yeah.
Like me making Garona a pirate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I feel that could ever like. Can you imagine the battleground of a bunch of pirate ships?
Sort of. And actually, I meant to ask you this earlier. Do you have any plans with Plunderstorm? Is there any integration with that?
I'm probably using the name.
Yeah.
Did you play it at all?
I did not play it. It seems like a cool concept. Like conceptually, it's pretty cool. You know, like
I played a little bit of this round,
and also, I mean, you had a pirate with Garona, like a pirate faction, so it seems like it would fit perfectly in line with that.
100%. And like, I think it's so telling that we now have Plunderstorm happening.
Mm-hmm.
I referenced this, like I did it without speaking though. I just used the Plunderstorm in the video, like the logo. But like, it's wild to me that we now have a thing called Plunderstorm. It's a main event, and there is no significant lore character attached to it.
Yeah,
like Hearthstone happened.
Yeah.
Like and Hearthstone, they had unique OCs, but also like for a while, Bran Bronzebeard was carrying Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
With like the explorers,
it was like the face of
I mean, there's Hearthstone Brew. He's the dwarf in the tavern.
Yeah,
but like no, for a long time, Bran Bronzebeard was Hearthstone.
Yeah, I never played Hearthstone. I've actually never played it.
I've played it tangentially. My favorite thing about Hearthstone, again, I also talked about this last episode with Marsh. is for a while. I don't remember when this was, but like WoW was having a bad time, and WoW just like WoW had a consistent tone then, like which is something I can't say about it now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
We just weren't having fun in
Yeah.
retail.
It just felt like a chore.
Then out of nowhere, like one day I was just like, "What is this?" And I looked at the Hearthstone cinematics. I was like, "This is a riot. This is awesome."
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like Warcraft exactly. It feels more like Warcraft than Warcraft does now. But it's also like, hey, what if it was fun? What if Warcraft
what if it was fun?
What if it was having a good time?
Yeah.
Like, what if we took the Explorers League and made them into G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. What if we then took them and made an enemy group led by an ethereal in a turban who was basically Skeletor? Can't go wrong. He puts together an evil league and they do it in a musical number. They decide that their plan is to go to Dalaran and we're going to take Dalaran for all that it's got. What does that mean? Are they gonna rob it? No, they're gonna strap big fucking rockets to it and steal the city. And then it's crazy.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Okay,
Oh
we're gonna watch a few. They're only a minute long each, but we're gonna watch them after this. We can skip the Sarfang cinematics until later. That'll be important at some point.
We'll add them to the list.
But like, they strap rockets to Dalaran and steal it. The following thing they're doing is let's go to Uldum and we're gonna raid the pyramids. But for the rest of the year, Dalaran is their evil base. And you see Dalaran with rockets strapped to it. It's like, oh, that's the League of Evils. That's them. And then the Explorers League are the good guys. The League of Evil is the bad guys. And then they go fight plague lords in Uldum, like Egyptian plagues. And then after that, they go fight dragons in Dragonblight. And it's awesome. And it's like, this is ridiculous and it's campy and it's a lot of fun and I wish WoW was doing it.
It sounds like fun, yeah.
And like, I am not a card game player, but I watched the hell out of the cinematics. A couple of them live rent free in my head. Specifically, one I'm going to show you after we're done.
That's kind of what Plunder Storm feels like. It feels like just fun. You know what I mean? It's just fun. It seems like not super serious. Like
exactly,
which is what games should be. Games should be fun. At the end of the day, they should be fun.
I do believe that was a tagline in our first video. Like games should be fun.
Games should be fun. Yeah. Actually, no. Hold on. I actually just prefer to do dailies and
just dailies.
Just dailies. That's all I want to do.
That's not something we're gonna get in tonight, but it is a topic I have for the future. Do you remember when you wanted to do dailies? There was a time.
There was a while in Burning BC.
Shattered Sun Offensive, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was the Shattered Sun Offensive.
Mine was Ice Crown.
Honestly, after that, actually in Legion, I actually kind of enjoyed it in Legion a little bit. I didn't mind the dailies in Legion as much.
There will be a time when we drill down further into that, but
I definitely did.
While. I don't like world quests.
Yeah,
because they're disconnected from context. You're just flying around and things happen.
Yeah.
But like the context of dailies in Shattered Sun or in Ice Crown or Legion was like you got a quest from someone and you had to go do something.
Yes.
For me in Ice Crown, we would fly around. I would get onto a gnomish biplane.
Oh, dude, I fucking
from our
hated
airship.
that quest. I fucking hated that quest.
I loved it.
Oh, you loved it?
I loved those quests.
Oh, I hated those
because it made me feel like I was contributing to the war effort against Arthas every single day.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're going on our strafing run.
I could see that.
We're gonna go through
the strafing run. We got to shoot down the skeletal dragons.
But also SI7. We're dropping in enemies
we gotta
down
drop
the line.
Some troops. We gotta guard them.
They drop you off at the base of that hill.
Yep.
And you take 7 or 8 knights up that hill, and like you are leading the charge.
There's a quest too.
Every
you gotta
single day.
Climb the hill. You like. With the jetpack, remember that one? You like?
I remember that one. I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one very much because again, kind of devoid of context. Why did we need that flag?
Yeah, why do we need to get?
What are we doing?
Yeah,
but like, no, that felt amazing because I was like, Arthas is in there in his stupid pointy house. Fuck him. I'm gonna make sure that we are dropping spies. we are leading troops.
So to your point, I can see the appeal of like it did feel like you were contributing to the war effort of we got to take down the Lich King.
The Lich King's got to go, man.
But that particular, just in my opinion, that particular quest with the flying machine,
yeah.
I didn't personally did not enjoy.
It's fair enough because it's not you playing. You're playing in a vehicle, and you're very much doing a what? It's a railroad. It's a rail shooter kind of.
They really kind of pushed vehicles for a while. They just really wanted that to be a thing. And I think some of the raids were like vehicle fights.
I forgot about
in
Oculus or the
Oculus and Ulduman.
Uldum. No,
Ulduar.
Ulduar.
Yeah. Some of those were just vehicle fights.
I forgot about Ulduar. It's probably one of WoW's best raiding experiences.
It actually was a good raid. Yeah.
Oh damn! But hey, it's getting late. Let me see if we can get back on track. We're talking about different experiences. Talking about why I'm so pro having a PvPer here helping me rewrite WoW's lore, because it's PvPing is fundamentally the most pure expression of faction identity. Because you can't PvP without the other faction.
Yeah,
it's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you kind of can in battlegrounds or in arenas, but yeah. Any other good stories? Any other fun memories from the PvP angle?
Honestly, so the one that really sticks out to me the most, probably like my most influential PvP memory,
which sounds like a Zoloft product.
Yeah, side effects may include.
Yeah, your most influential PvP experience
was actually a loss. It was a loss in an arena game. Mm-hmm. This was like season 2 of in the Burning Crusade. So it was like literally the second arena season. I lost, but it was such a good loss. My opponent was so good, and they were just a little bit better than me, to the point where like the whole game was close, but at the same time it wasn't, because they were just a little bit, like one step ahead of me. But that was probably the most fun I have ever had, because we were so, and this kind of goes back to the whole
was it a 2v2? Was it a 3v? What was it?
It was a 2v2. Okay. It was me and my one of my buddies that we were friends in real life.
What were you playing and what was he playing?
I was playing a Resto Druid and he played a Warlock.
Awesome.
An Affliction Warlock, which was a really strong comp at the time. Yeah, it was very potent. Yeah. And we played I think it was a mage. It was a frost mage and I think another druid. But it was such a great match. They were really good, and I just had a blast. It was so hard. It was such a hard match, but
at the same time, like you got to have fun, and you felt like you were doing
so much fun.
Like that's a sweet spot to hit.
Because honestly, like getting spanked, getting somebody that's just way better than you shits on, not really that much fun.
Steamrolled, yeah, it's not a good time. But I would also argue that steamrolling
is fun. Yeah,
no. So I think it is.
Well, to a point.
I think it's
to a point
satisfying.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes.
Or maybe it's like, fun, but it's not satisfying. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm trying to get.
It's fun for like 5 minutes. Like if you're in a battleground and it's completely one-sided and you're demolishing and spawn camping the other team, it's fun until it's 5-10 minutes, and you're like, all right.
It's amusing, like squeezing a black hit is amusing.
Yeah,
but I don't feel accomplished afterwards.
Exactly.
I'll always have more fun winning against someone who could have beaten me.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Like, and then even then, so that sweet spot of like, I could have won this match and I didn't.
Yep.
That can be painful.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have won this match, and damn, they're good.
They're good. Yeah.
That is a sweet moment.
And it's one of those things too, where when you lose, like you're not bitter or upset. You're like, they played well, man. Like they did good. They played well. They beat me. I'm
just impressed.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
That's a rare moment in any PvP game.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. It's almost kind of odd that that's my standout memory from PvP, but that was just Instrument. I really enjoyed that match. That was a good one.
Hell yeah.
But also back then, not a lot of people PvP'd, so like it was kind of rare that you would fight people that were pretty good or as good as you are. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Like, so in the same vein that crafters haven't gotten any love in a long time. I don't know if I really touched on this. Even to myself, PvPers have not gotten love in a longer, like crafters have, at least they have gotten significant updates lately.
Yeah.
PvP has not.
So I know they got the solo shuffle, which, from my understanding, is essentially you can queue for arena just by yourself, which a lot of people like. Actually, a lot of people like, because back to that point we were discussing earlier, where it's difficult to find a team and find players who are willing to progress and get better together.
Synchronize, yeah.
Yeah, with the solo shuffle, you just I guess you just queue up and just play with whoever. So
Okay. But like along that line, in this again, and we're telling it like a story. How do we keep respecting PvP and keeping it in the story? And I didn't even consider this because I sort of mentioned I didn't like Eye of the Storm. But how do we? Well, do you even know? Because I have played retail more recently than you have, and I don't know the answer to this.
why we were at Eye of the Storm? Why? What are we fighting over?
Oh no.
Oh,
Well, that's a great question too. What the fuck did we need in there? But no,
yeah.
my question was, when did we last get a new battleground?
I couldn't tell you that. I think
I know there were some in Panda.
yeah.
I know Ashran was PvP related, but that was PvP the same way like Wintergrasp was, right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? I don't know.
Ashran.
It was in WAD. Because we didn't get capitals the way they promised, so they slapped together two hubs
Oh, okay.
on a PvP island.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. WAD was a blur for me.
What was a blur for everybody?
I just remember being in my Garrus. I did my.
Ringing endorsement. You were getting player housing in Midnight?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll drill down into that someday.
Yeah,
but
that could be fun. They only did that in RuneScape 20 years ago, so it's about time, I guess.
And Final Fantasy 14, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or in Wayfinders, like last year.
Yeah.
Or
why have they not done that?
I think because of garrisons.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that is safely why they've never tried it again.
Yeah.
But again, it's like it's the baby with the bathwater. Like garrisons were a good idea that they didn't do right. They made it so there was no incentive to leave.
Yeah.
You didn't just have.
They should have scaled down the rewards 1,000%. They should,
But like also you had crafting nodes. Like you
didn't have to go in the world.
You didn't need a mine and a garden.
You could just send your miners into the mine, and
like you didn't need to go out to gather resources. That's maybe where we should have stopped. Maybe we didn't include crafting parts in our house.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Is like there was gameplay first. There's been a motto at WoW. Gameplay's always first. Or to put it another way, an actual quote: "Story is never enough." Like story is never good enough reason. But that kind of misunderstands the point, because player housing, if it was just your house and there is no gameplay mechanic, but like that's where you hang your trophies.
Yeah,
that's where you hang. Like this is a new way to customize your character. You could do raids. And something that could drop from the raid is something you could hang on your wall. That's the gameplay.
I mean, look at like every like Bethesda game. They have some sort of like mannequin or something where you can put your armors that you've collected. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, it is a way to catalog your gameplay.
Yeah.
A little bit of the track there, but yeah. I want to keep the PvP experience as an element of the story throughout. And sometimes it'll be more important and sometimes it won't. Like in Dragonflight, I don't mind.
There definitely should be points where
It's a lull.
we have to come together
Yeah.
to defeat a common global threat, you know?
Dude, the Wraith Gate.
Yeah.
I wondered if you were going to show up. I couldn't let the Alliance have all the fun today.
Yeah.
Oh, makes my my hair stand on end. Yeah. But like even in those moments, there's that rivalry.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're enemies, sometimes we're rivals, but it should always be there.
It's like the Lord of the Rings scene where they're counting kills.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
yeah.
I've always wanted that dynamic in a D&D game. I never get to be a player, that's the problem. But
Yeah.
like I just want to go into a game and like 21, 22.
Yeah.
And like that energy right there, like counting kills against the other faction. That's the reason why I've always been so excited that you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Was it like you'll keep that energy in this?
I just missed that from the original WoW. It was so interesting, and I even started. You know, it's actually this is kind of funny. You started on a PvP server.
Yeah.
I started on a PvE server.
That's wild.
I pretty quickly made a second character on a PvP server, but I did start on a PvE server. But yeah, just that, I don't know, man, that faction identity was...
It's critical, man.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I'm literally right now, I didn't even think about this.
Okay. Viewers, he's wearing an Alliance shirt. He's
I
literally
just
wearing an Alliance t-shirt.
I
It's
just
got
unzipped my hoodie and my
Alliance
undershirt.
lion.
The closest thing I've ever worn to a wife beater is my undershirt right now, and it is embroidered with the Alliance lion. Did not do that on purpose.
Yep.
Oh man, but yeah, and I mean, and it's not a negative. Like people,
No.
the way people view it now is it takes away from the gameplay experience.
Mm.
And I guess
That's crazy. That's a crazy take.
it is, and I'm looking at it. I'm trying to.
I will say for a long time, I would not even play Alliance. That's how hardcore I was. You know, I'm
Get
Horde
that
for life.
Horde scum off of
I
my
wouldn't
account.
even play an Alliance character. So and that, you know, to that point, I did kind of miss a lot of the story from that side because I never saw any of it. You know.
Well, there are parts of the Horde story that I fundamentally don't know. Like you and I kind of need to get together to help me better map out the Horde story in Classic.
Mhm.
I played. I eventually made characters, but it was never up. Back then, I didn't catalog it in my mind the same way I did for the Alliance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this if we're telling this as a story, we should bring in everybody's perspective. Like it should be a story that represents something to everyone who played it.
Mhm.
Me, a dweeby lore nerd, you, a big, strong PvPer, someone out there is a crafting dork.
Mhm.
And that person probably like went to MIT. And that's why they care about the economy. That's what the story of WoW should be about.
Yeah.
I think that's about as strong a point to end it because it is almost midnight here.
What are we at? 12 hours of drinking?
Yeah, we were supposed to be there at noon.
Oh, we were
We were a little late.
Yeah.
Day drinking. Boats
Still
are
standing.
great.
Still standing.
I'm still standing. Oh, nope, no singing. All right. Well, anyways, we hope you guys have enjoyed your time here. We hope you'll join us again soon. Until then, Hargan.
Hargan Smash.
That's right. See you next time.